Hey everybody, it's Mark Ruggiero here, Clark Commando 1983, and this is part one of my Learn to Play After Action report for Columbia Games Pacific Victory, second edition. This is the Kickstarter edition. What you're looking at here is the mouse pad map that was an extra that I bought. As you all know, I like to pimp my games out. So today's, what's today? Today's, oh my God, Wednesday. I forgot what day, September something 2023, LOL. So I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm gonna go take a nap after this. Cancer's not too bad. I'm in my garage. What you're looking at there, these are all units that are not initially placed. There's some units with years on them, that's when they appear. So what I'm going to attempt to do in this video, and whenever I miss I'll cover, is I'm going to go over the setup, the basic scale of the game. Each turn is quarterly, starts in December of 41. Pearl Harbor's already happened. Let me have a seat here. Sorry guys, bear with me. Can't stand for that long. And this is the map. You see tons of Japanese are in orange, the Chinese are yellow, the Brits, etc. Their Anzacs are brown, and then we have the U.S. over here. And I don't think, well, let's see if I can scroll up just a little bit. Here we go. Come on. Here we go. So you can get a look at my mess in my garage. I'm slowly turning into my gaming area so that I can have a monster gaming area. So the scale of the game, so each copy of the game, this is from Columbia Games, Pacific Victory. It's a block game with pips, not ideal for solitaire, but I will be playing it this coming Sunday with my friend Mike. I wanted a chance to go over the rules, so I have an idea of like what I'm doing. I did the best I could to sticker them. Some of my stickers are a little crooked, which will probably drive Mike crazy, but I couldn't do much better with my cancer-induced fingers, which really suck right now. So game scale is the Allies are corps, Japanese land units are armies. I'm gonna, the planes, each pip on the land units represents a division. And if you haven't played a Columbia game, let's see if I can get this up there. That's what they look like. The dot on top, this guy's a strength 1. And I just picked them up. And where the hell did I pick them up from? Oh my goodness. Okay, I will... Oh crap. Alright. Oh my goodness. Gotta pay attention. Chemo brain Mark here. Sorry guys. Give me 1 second so I can put this guy back. He's Anzac. Let's see. Darwin. Was it Brisbane? Let's look. I'm doing the 1941. There's yearly scenarios. And you do 41 start, a 42 start, and a 43 start. They all end in 45 or with an automatic victory. I'll go over what that looks like as I go through the rules and the basics with you guys. Whatever I miss, totally my fault. And yeah, Port Moresby, there we go. Okay, so we're in business. All right, so the scale, like I said, each pip is a division on the land units, which are infantry and garrisons. On the air units, each pip is about 100 aircraft approximately. With the ships, they're individual ships with different destroyers, all the same idea. And I will go over the ratings. And the terrain, so let's see here. So the map scale. Excuse me, the cover map scale. Very large. It gives an example, like if this was at the European scale they use, it would only be 4 hexes from the East Coast to Paris. So it gives you an idea of the expanse of the Pacific. Let's see if it says what the game scale is. Yeah, per hex is 600 miles across. It's a very strategic game. The 41 scenario starts off with Pearl Harbor already happened. You have a special rule here where the Japanese Air Armada is based here at Truk. They cannot move on turn 1 because they're considered to have done the Pearl Harbor raid. There is an optional rule if you want. You can start the game a little sooner. And, excuse me, and do Pearl Harbor. I'm just going to kind of go through the rule book here. It's a really short rule book with, let's see, 8, 9, looks like about 9 1/3, not 1/2 pages of rules. And then you get into the optionals and the scenarios and whatnot. There are optional rules, which we're not going to use any to start with. The rule book is a really nice flat paper, which I like. Has, if you notice, on this side is rules, and over here are examples, or a little bit more like what it means, etc. So I find it valuable to read the rule and then just kind of glance through the side notes. Sequence of play, I'm going to just follow the rule book for the game, is initiative. Japanese will have the initiative on the first turn. For future reference, there's no double defense. Hopefully I'll remember to cover what that means. Basically in jungle, with double defense means it takes 2 hits. This is a bucket of dice game. 2 hits to score 1 hit. That's what that means. But you roll initiative, each player rolls 2 dice, and outside of the first turn, and the allied player wins ties. And then also if there's typhoon turns and the weather's set, if you look at let me zoom in a little bit here. Is it zoomed in? Let's see. Whoops. There we go. Look at the turn record chart. It has weather on certain turns. If you get typhoons, there's a die roll. You'll be able to read the rules. Some of this I'm not going to go into detail because I've only read the rules once. Typhoons are marked with these typhoon markers. You roll a dice, see which hexes are impacted, and there's different impacts. And on those turns, player 2 will roll 1d6 to determine the location. This is all 1d6 game. The game comes with 3, 6, 8 really nice kind of quality black die, right? But what gamer doesn't have enough dice, right? So I really have grown to like Columbia games, I'll say that. I used to be kind of out on the fence, or not say, I don't really like block games, but I like the Fog of War. They're pretty playable. This one's playable, it says, by experienced players. It takes about, if you play the full campaign, I think it's about 8 hours. If you play just the scenarios, are a little shorter. But basically how the turn sequence is, you roll initiative. Whoever wins, that side decides who gets to move first, who moves second. Player 1 does his moves. And I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm talking about. Then player 2 does their moves. There's some rules about reinforcements, and you do a combat. Combat's basically shooting at each other. And all units are based on they have a rating based on them. From A to E, I think. A, B, C, D, E. Let's see if we can get that in focus. Come on, Mark. Oh my goodness. I think that's okay. But it's up here in the upper left corner. And that's the order that they fire on. There's 3 different types of combat. There's ground, naval, and then air. Air to sea or whatever. And air to air. So you have to pick what group you're shooting at. And there's certain circumstances, like ground units can only shoot at aircraft if those ground units were actually attacked. Also on the counter, since we're on the subject, I don't want to screw it up. But okay, you do combat, then you do your logistics, then you add up your production points. The Allies have to start 45 production points. Japan has 14. Use those to rebuild units. You have on the map here, let's see, minor bases, which are these colored circles. Color initiates who, and then you have major bases, which are these hexagons. You have minor and major bases with numbers inside. If they have a number inside, that represents their production points. For example, let's see if you can zoom in here a little bit. Borneo, you see that one's got a 1. Over in Sumatra, got what's that, a 2? Yeah. So that's how many resources they're worth. Use that for production. Our supply rules. Some of the rules I may just go over in the after action. I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but I'm already at 11 minutes and I'm trying to keep this video, try to keep my videos a little shorter. So next up on page 4 of the rules, and I'm not going to go through each one. You have an explanation of what all the unit types are, their movement capacity, and has a little abbreviated what their special abilities are and stuff. And you get your unit data chart here, which is also in the back of the rule book. An example of the layout. And if you see the numbers on the bottom right, 1, 3, 2, for example, on that cruiser, are it's air firepower if it shoots at the air, flak, naval if it's shooting at other ships, and then a ground of 3 that had, and then ground is a 2. That's what it would use for shore bombardment. And those factors are how many dice you roll. And then the hits are based on, I gotta look what they're based on, I forgot already. See, I'm so bad. And then that unit description also tells you what their movement ability is. The game has operational movement. You only can do 1 type, which you use, of course, to move on the map. And then you have strategic movement, which is you move base to base up to 10 hexes away. For 2 strategic movements, you can move unit 20 hexes. Those are burned from your HQs, which are a precious resource. They're pretty expensive to each point you use, you turn the headquarters unit, and you got to pay to get those steps back. So anyhow, there's no zones of control, but at the scale and the movement allowances, I think it works really well. No land or air unit can end a turn in a non-base hex, right? But naval units can. You have subs. What you have here is you have carriers, you have battleships, cruisers, and you have submarines. Submarines can ignore enemy naval units when they're moving for supply purposes. And, outside of that, off the top of my head right now, I don't believe they have any other special abilities. Air movement is based on, I think it's 1 hex. And when you consider each hex is 600 miles, that's a 1,200-mile radius, so it's probably pretty reasonable. And movement is out, you know, and of course when you return to base, you're going to return to base. So we'll go to page 6 in the rules. And that's where you get a little bit into the detail. So like stacking is based on terrain, which is in the rules. Clear is 4 steps or 4 units. Naval is 4. Alpine mountain, which are only up by India, is nothing. Mountain hexes are 1. Jungle are 1 or 2. Let me look here. Move. Oh, stacking. Here we go. Stacking chart right there. Then there's a movement chart. It's all in the back of the rule book. And type of unit and their production cost per step. So let's see. And I could be, no, the HQs are 2 production points per pip. So let's see here. Let's get the sequence of play. That's nice. Let's see. Is there a terrain effects chart? There's a nice little index, which I like, in the back of the rule book. And I'm jumping around, getting out of order again. I know, guys. Sorry. Double defense, like I said, is part of combat. So ground units that defend in jungle or mountain or double defense. And major bases. Basically, that means you need 2 hits to get 1 hit. And it has various rules what happens with half hits if you retreat. Each round of combat, or each combat can last up to 3 rounds until either one side's eliminated or somebody decides to withdraw. And then the non-retreating player, the attacking player can regroup. There's also hex side limitations. So when you move into combat, it's in the hex. And yeah, so it's in the hex. And then the hex sides will determine how many units can actually cross. You have stacking in the hex, which applies to both sides, right? So for stacking in the jungle is stacking chart. Oh, I screwed that up, didn't I? Where is the stacking for land? Let's see. It looks like it showed the bases, but not the. Let's see. Let me see here. Production, blockades. Let's go back to stacking. So stacking is the max blocks you can have in a hex. Oh, okay, now that makes sense now. Okay, so it is bases, sorry. Because remember, empty hexes are considered neutral. And there are these hexes with these little black dots. You can't really see that one, can you? Now, I don't want to adjust the camera, but let's see if I can find one. Okay, so the French, let's see, probably hard to see, but way up here, the French frigate shoals over here by Hawaii are a black dot. So that's an example, like land and air cannot, at the end of the turn, stay in that hex. They have to return to base if they're there. And why would they be there? You might fly the air out to be part of a naval battle, etc. So that's stacking. And there again, it's all on that chart. So for example, minor base, you can stack 1 ground unit or 4 naval. Major base, you can stack 2 ground units and 4 major. And then at sea, if you're doing a naval invasion, Marines and infantry count as naval stacking until they land. Okay, all right, let's see, where were we? Page 5. Okay, 6. So combat, I will go over the combats when I do an actual after action report. The video is already at 20 minutes. So I will cover that in more detail. Got to read up a little bit on blockades. Can do raids where you send ships out, and memberships can only, any unit can only move once a turn. And a raid will cost you a strategic movement pip when you're headquarters, so it ain't cheap. You pick your unit or units to do the raid. Send them out to double their range. They do a round of combat. Based on the lettering system A through E, they have to have a higher letter rating than their target, I believe. And basically they take a shot and then the other side can shoot back, I believe, and then you go back to your base. So, but you can do raids that way. So you might do that, try to take out a naval unit or something. There's a little weather section which covers monsoons. I do want to note something. So this orange line here, it says in the rule book that it's light blue. Well, it's not light blue, it's orange. You should be able to see it. There's a, like right here, there's a, let me see if I can zoom in, sorry. I'm trying to rush through this probably too much. There you go. So right here, what that does, that divides the, whoops. Okay. What that does, that divides the map between Nimitz and his island hopping campaign and MacArthur and his approach that he wanted to do. There's production, like I said, pretty simple. I'll go over that as I'm doing my after action report. I haven't quite decided if I'll try to get through a whole turn or I'll break the first few videos up into certain phases so I can cover it in detail. I may do that. Maybe if you have a preference, comment and whatnot. I'm not saying that's what I'll do, but I always try to take into account what you guys want to see, because without you, I got nobody to pay attention to me anymore. And I love doing these because I love the hobby and want to thank everybody for your support on the cancer and the GoFundMe and the thoughts and the prayers. But literally the rule book is 9 1/3 pages of rules. Then you have, it looks like about a third to maybe half a page and a half of scenario. No, not even that much. With a couple different little scenario rules, and then optional rules are another page. And then you get the scenario setups, which I'll show you the 41 scenario. And I know I went through this kind of quick, but we just ate up 23 minutes. Hopefully I've covered some stuff that you will enjoy. I hope that I'm gonna go take a nap now. So I know you don't want to hear, you don't care, but, or I should say, shouldn't bother you with that, but I'm starting to get a little tired. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. And one thing I learned from my cancer fight is when my body says sleep, I go take a nap. So hopefully, later tonight, I'll be doing a actual start, and I may just turn the camera on and walk through each step and what I'm trying to do, and break up the how to play piece, into a few different videos, and then hopefully get 1 or 2 videos accomplished where maybe you get to watch 1 or 2 turns. And then I haven't decided yet. I got to talk to Mike. I may set up my camera when we're playing, just flip it on, but I don't know, that would be kind of long. So, I may just do maybe a commentary video when we finish, or may not do a video at all. So, But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you stuck with me this long, I appreciate you. I hope I didn't mumble. And I hope that you have some fun. I like pimping my ride out. I don't know if you can get the map anymore like this, but if you can find it, it wasn't cheap, but I think it's worth it. The map that comes in the box is, let me show you here really quick. I kind of already did an unboxing of this, but is basically this. I'm just going to show you. It's it's not bad. It works. I have the game set up on here, but that's the size of the hexes as opposed to that. And instead of the mouse pad, it comes on a like a heavy cardstock. It's not a big deal for me because I use Flexi. But the games are super nice components, and they're very playable. All their titles, I think they're pretty underrated for what they are. You may disagree, and if you don't like block games, you're probably not watching this video anyways. So, but it also comes with a handy dandy catalog, which is kind of nice. Which I think I actually have the majority of their games now. Yeah, it looks like most of it. I don't have this Last Spike, a game, railway building game. I didn't know railway games too much, but. And what's also not in here, they did do a tactical game, which I haven't had a chance to play yet. But it has the infantry, East Front, West Front. Wizard Kings, I think it's brilliant. I haven't played it in a little bit. My favorite is Eurofront, I gotta say. But this also, Pacific Victory, by the way, gives you an opportunity, if you want, to combine it with Victory in Europe. So, all right, well, I'm gonna let you go. We're at 27 minutes, a little long. Trying to make my videos a little shorter. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye.